Alright guys, so by now your product is live. You've made your descriptions, you've fixed your titles and your images, everything's optimized, and now you're just ready to run your PPC campaign and do your launch. What I wanted to show you beforehand is actually a case study of my own product that has done very well without even doing any giveaways, not necessarily a launch, and really just a PPC campaign that was ran throughout this. Now, this is the most optimal situation because then you don't have to worry about giveaways and that kind of thing, but you may not be able to see results like I did. But if you are seeing numbers like this as you're doing PPC, what you're going to realize is that you're in a very good situation, and for you to just keep on pressing on the gas pedal and keep on running it because you have a winner in your hands and you don't even have to do much outside of just ramping up your PPC and just continue to keep the momentum and not running out of stock. Okay. So let me go ahead and go over these numbers. I was able to crunch some numbers on my data report and be able to pull this up. Now, between September 1st and 11th, if you look at right here in this chart, you'll see that I have a total of 3 orders, 40 sessions, 40 people visiting my listing. I was not running any PPC after I was looking at all my data. And really my PPC campaign actually started from September 12th to 30th. Okay, so that's basically an 18-day window where I started PPC on September 12th, and then these are the orders that I was getting. So I got 86 orders from total from September 12th to 30th. I got 415 sessions, and then right here, the number of PPC orders, so the orders that came from PPC Amazon ads was 60. My PPC sessions, the number of clicks was 353. My spend was $515. My ACoS was 36%. My click-through rate was 0.51%. My percent sessions from PPC was 85%, and my percent orders from PPC, my percent orders from PPC was 70%. So breaking this down, what this means is basically 85% of the traffic between September 12th to 30th came from my PPC campaign. Okay. And 70% of my orders came from PPC. What that means is that as you're running your PPC and you notice that you're not getting a lot of organic sales and it's really just coming down to your PPC, that is fine. Okay, that's fine. That's part of what the launch is. You just need to get that momentum going so that you can start ranking organically and start claiming the first page and start getting more organic traffic to your listing, which you'll see in the next month that I'll cover here in a second. But some of the key things that I want you to take a look at is that the ACoS is 36%. This is probably going to be one of your biggest challenges as you're running your PPC campaign for the first time. Really, all I did was I just ran an auto campaign. I ran 2 auto campaigns, one on with a mid-budget, one on a high budget, and then after I believe like 3 or 4 days, what I would do is I would just transfer them over to a manual campaign that had good ACoS, and I would just shut I would just add the auto campaigns that I moved to the manual campaigns, those keywords into the negative keywords, so I wasn't double bidding. I wasn't 100% sure if it worked that way, but I just did it anyway. So just I did that, so you should do that too. And that's going to be your biggest challenge, just keeping your ACoS down. Most people, when I hear people like running PPC and that kind of thing, they'll see ACoS of 50, 60, 70%. And there's no rocket science that I did. I didn't just magically just do an amazing ACoS PPC campaign. I just ran an auto campaign, right? And then it just pulled up the keywords from my product page and the category and that kind of thing that was in, and then it was able to generate this. So there's no wizardry. I didn't just do amazing PPC campaign. It was just a good product, and this was a clear indicator that it was a winner. And if you see something like this, even without doing anything else like a giveaway, then you're in a good situation. So 36% ACoS, my spend was $515 over 18 days. My click-through rate was 0.51%. So this is going to be an important number for you as well, because the click-through rate is basically from the number of impressions. So when you're running your Amazon PPC campaign, not every single person, when they see your ad, is going to click on it, right? So if there's 1,000 people looking at your listing, if 10 people click on it, then you have a 1% click-through rate. In this case, mine was 0.51%. If your click-through rate, when you're pulling up your advertisement, once you've been running your PPC for a few days or a week or so, and your click-through rate is below 0.51% and significantly below, like I'm talking like 0.15 to 0.25, 0.3, that is an opportunity that means that, or it's a huge indicator that means that your main image, there's something that's lacking. There's something that's causing people to not click on your listing and people to click on another person's listing over yours, and you're just not getting enough click-through rate. So that's a huge indicator that your main image needs work. Okay, so you're going to want to improve that portion if your click-through rate is significantly lower than mine. And then going into October 1st, 31, you'll see that I had 521 orders, 1,500 sessions, PPC orders. Oh, shoot. So there we go. So the PPC was actually 155. My PPC sessions, my clicks was 881. Spend was 1,100. My ACoS actually went even down further. And then my click-through rate was 0.79. And I think my ACoS, I improved my PPC campaign better. And that kind of thing. So percent sessions from PPC, percent orders from PPC. And so you'll notice that while the majority of my sessions from PPC, 85% of that came from like the first month between, or first 18 days from September 12th to 30th, came from PPC. I used that momentum to roll into the October, and I dropped that from about 85% to about 58%. And then the percentage of orders from 70 to 30%. So actually this number, how it went from 70 to 30%. So even though my percentage sessions from PPC, the number of people visiting my listing from PPC only dropped from 85 to 58%, which is about 30%, my percentage of orders dropped by 40% from 70 to 30%, which goes to show you that more people are inclined to purchase something when they hit on it organically as opposed to when they find the listing through PPC, which is actually good news for you if you're not in this most ideal situation. So let's say that you're running your PPC, you don't see these numbers that I'm seeing, right? So you're not seeing like your sessions, your orders, and that kind of thing. You can just ramp up based on your spend, right? But let's say that your ACoS is like 60, 70%, your click-through rate is not good. What you need to do is just go back to your listing and just make sure you optimize and do what you need to do to improve that again. There's got to be some kind of improvement, and if that's not the case, the worst situation is that it's just not a product that's going to win in this case, okay? But at least you know sooner than later than if you're wasting more time and money into it. And then once you go back and you've done everything you can, you've gotten some feedback and people say, yes, this looks great, and you still don't get the kind of ACoS that you're looking for, there's still potential for it. And the good news, and the reason why is because even if you don't get a good ACoS with these PPC campaigns, what you need to realize is that a lot more people are inclined to purchase something when they go click on it organically and find it organically based on these numbers right here. And so if you do that launch and you just whip out something from your back pocket, like running, Facebook ads or Google ads and any other ways to kind of get external traffic, then and to just boost up your rankings, then you could still potentially win it. But this is the most ideal situation where you don't have to do any giveaways and you're just running a PPC campaign that eventually snowballs into just being on the first page event and then getting the organic sales, as you can see for the rest of this. And so if you're not seeing this, it's fine. But like I said, I'm not a big fan of just doing this huge launch from the get-go unless it's necessary. And I also highly encourage you to avoid just doing a complete launch under the assumption that all your listing is perfect, right? Because if you're running your PPC campaign, this right here is such incredible data in being able to tell you whether your product is going to succeed or not. So even if you're doing a launch and you get on the first page and you're spending all this money, but if you can't get the organic sales, you're never going to stay on the first page and your product is never going to succeed, which means that you have to go back to improving your listing before you do the launch. Okay.